Hello Doctor Who fans, I am Doctor Who commentator, here to give you a rant. A very non-thought out, very rare, hardly rehearsed rant. And I do this because, obviously, I'm not doing another commentary until sometime after November 23rd. But everyone or at the time I was thinking about this, were giving all their 2 cents about Matt Smith's departure. So, what I wanted to do was make this video and give my 2 cents. Mostly on the fact that, like every time there's regeneration, or every year in the case of the Sun, there's always the speculation of who exactly is going to replace him. And it's always the same argument. Every time we get the same argument, which is the Doctor should now be a woman. The Doctor should now be black. The Doctor should now be Asian. And every time this comes up, people get fussy and angry and it all makes me think one thing. Why on earth is any of this the criteria? Why is it that being a woman or a black person or an Asian man, black man, Asian man, this is always the criteria every regeneration? And let me say, I have no problem with any of that. I have no problem of the Doctor being any of these things. But I don't like the fact that every time this regeneration's coming up, these 3 things have to be a part of the criteria. And interestingly, it's always separately. It has to be a woman or black or Asian. In fact, the only way you make everyone happy is if all 3 of these became part of the criteria. Do you honestly think this is the important part, as opposed to acting ability? Okay, casting call right now. Yes, to play the role of the Doctor, this time we require a half-black, half-Asian woman to play this role. This is honestly not the major part. And I know a lot of people will probably disagree with this. Let me reiterate, I'm going to have no problem with the Doctor being any of these things. There are people out there who keep saying, oh, I'll stop watching Doctor Who if it's a woman. Really? Is that honestly gonna make you stop watching? Might I say, if that makes you stop watching, you are a pretty weak man or woman. I will admit that the Doctor, having been a white man for so long, it has been hard for me to see him as anything else. And I will say, I would probably prefer he did stay a white male. That's not to say I'm going to be angry if there were any kind of changes to what we've already seen. Doctor Who is all about change. It always changes. So the only problem I could have ever seen with this is K9 might get a bit confused. Greetings, Master, Mistress, Master, Mistress. Unable to comply. Scanning mode. Mistress. Affirmative, Mistress. But K9's not here anymore, so that's not a problem. So honestly, everyone just take a chill pill for a moment. It's really not an issue what his ethnicity or gender, or in the case of UKIP, must be said, his sexual preference. To those who don't know, the vast majority of UKIP members actually voted on the identity of the Doctor, and they said that he should be a white male heterosexual. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't think a regeneration would change anything about a person's sexuality. And might I say, he's got a granddaughter, so he's either straight or bi. So I really don't think UKIP have anything to worry about in that respect. And now we move on to the casting of it in general. Because naturally, again, several names keep popping up. Some include things like Dame Helen Mirren. Some include Rupert Grint. The Doctor will finally be a ginger then. Another was the guy from Luther, but I can never remember his name. And I'm gonna answer this simply as well. You do realise that every actor who's ever played the Doctor has never been known before for anything that famous. Almost every Doctor was known in the circles of light entertainment. In fact, the only one who was really that famous before Doctor Who was Peter Davison with All Creatures Great and Small. All Creatures Great and Small. And I suppose David Tennant with Casanova, but that was just a one-off or two-off. I don't know how many episodes included him. I suppose the one good thing about this, all of this, is that you get to play your annual drinking game with the Sun. Could have been with News of the World as well if they went to bunk. And that drinking game is take a shot every time the Sun claims Angelina Jolie is going to be the next Doctor. And yes, this has actually happened before. Which I'm going to say, anyone who honestly believes a big Hollywood actress is going to be the next Doctor, you really don't know the budget of the BBC, do you? I mean, look at John Hurt. I mean, he's obviously a Doctor in some sense. He's pretty much going to be the only really well-known Doctor from beforehand. But again, he's a one-off. And we don't completely know what his status as the Doctor really is. He's credited as the Doctor, so he's definitely one of the incarnations. But we just don't know. So that was my 2 cents on the new Doctor. And a lot of you probably don't agree with me, and that's reasonable. But I still stand by what I say. To reiterate, I probably would prefer the Doctor to remain the way he is because I've seen him that way. But I'm not going to be angry about the tiniest of changes. And ultimately that is it. In the grand scheme of things, it is tiny. So don't get so angry if they do make some changes. Because it will change. And regardless of this, the fact is, whatever changes they make, you are still going to love the Doctor. You are still going to like him. And this next Doctor will still be remembered like all the other Doctors. They will be remembered. So, thanks for watching.